to see how to make shiplap on your walls. This is a really easy project that you can do, and I promise you, you can do this. I'll get you through it. When you see how easy it is, you're not going to believe it. And if you run into any troubles, you can always just message me and I'll get you through it. So where I started off is, this is actually my staging wall, which I do want to paint the back of this because I'm just so done with that white kind of wainscoting look. However, I don't know about shiplap because I have so many different styles of furniture that I want something that goes with everything but isn't just wainscoting. So I'll figure that out. But in the meantime, it's going to make a perfect canvas for us to learn shiplap. And if you just want to do one wall in a bathroom, an accent wall in your bedroom, or an accent wall in your living room, you can do this and it's going to look really good. And the beauty of using paint as opposed to wallpaper or real shiplap, although real shiplap is pretty awesome, is that you can just paint right over it. So let's say 2 years from now, you're at a farmhouse, you're into something else. Just pick up your paint and you're finished. Same thing with if you're doing shiplap and you, I don't know, maybe don't like one of the panels, paint over it. That's what I love about paint. You can have courage with it that you maybe wouldn't normally have. So let's get started. What I did here is I just measured an area for us to work on. This is my center. I already knew that the board was 8 feet high. So we're gonna do just this area here so that you're not committed to spending like a full day with me. This wouldn't take a full day if you do it, I'm just kidding. But you get the point. So another thing I like to do, because I do murals also, I used to do murals and really not much decorative painting, but as I get older, these ladders and other things aren't things that I really want to be climbing on every day. And when I did do murals, one of the things that I would always do, I've had requests for, you know, stone walls, very theatrical types of finishes sometimes that maybe you wouldn't necessarily have in the house, but they're fun to do, and commercial businesses tend to go with those types of things. So whenever someone requests to me that they want a mural or a finish that, you know, looks like a castle or looks like brick or whatever they do, whenever they make those requests, what I tend to do is print off an actual finish of, let's say they want a castle rock. I'd print off some castle rock and just kind of look at it, get to know it a little bit. This is actually from Magnolia Homes, and I feel like we should go with the authentic products since Joanna and Chip are really who we can thank that look for. I mean, they put it on the market, so I should be looking at their stuff, right? Well, as you can see here, if you just tape a piece of it next to your project, just kind of keeps you in focus of the look you're going for, because one of the things about doing murals or painting on your wall is you're right up on it. So you can find yourself getting lost in a project and, you know, just really enjoying what you're doing, because once you do this, you're going to feel like you have a sense of accomplishment and it's going to inspire you to do other things. So my point being that when you're on top of your wall or furniture, whatever it is, painting it, until you really step back after you've gotten so far, you don't really get that full look of it. So the beauty of having, I guess you would call it just a picture to kind of inspire you, to keep your mind focused on the look that you're trying to achieve, I just tape it up there. And it really helps me. You know, you may not be a visual person, maybe that's not what you need, but it's just a tip for those of us who tend to be more visual. I like to look at things and recreate them. Some people are more, I guess you would call them, I don't want to use the smart, but they like to read, they like to follow directions, and I'm gonna make sure I cover you on that too. So what I did was I measured this area off, since we're only going to do this area, and I did a coat of drop cloth. Now I'm going to tell you the reason I use drop cloth. Drop cloth is Dixie Belle's #1 color. The reason being is that it's kind of like a white, but it's got that base to it that can go with grays, it can go with beiges, so it can go warm or cool, and it works. And I think that's why so many people have jumped on it. As you know, I'm like a colorful person. I love color, I love to paint in color. It's very difficult to get me to paint something just white or gray. And when the color first came out, and a lot of the other artists were just, you know, screaming over the color, I was just like, that's your thing, not mine. But since I've used it, it really does work on everything. I mean, it's just, to me, the perfect neutral. So that's why I use drop cloth. We have 4 or 5 different whites, but this does go with everything. So that's what I started with. That's our base coat. All right, level. Now, I use a big level, but you have to remember when I'm doing murals and things like that, I use it for so many things. You don't have to use a big level. It's just what I'm used to and what I'm comfortable with. You could use like a little foot-long level, which may even be better because when you're trying to handle this and move around, if it's just you, sometimes this can get a little bulky. So, if you're taking notes, this is where we're starting. We have drop cloth, we have a wall, and we have a picture, and we have a level. So what we don't have is my pencil. So let's get started. Now, the thing with Ship Lap, it's kind of cool, is usually if I'm doing a finish that looks like brick or stone, I always start at the middle. But with Ship Lap, you don't really have to do that because you can take it down and your final board will end on the bottom, so no one's really going to see it anyway. So yeah, you can do that. And it's hard for me to do, but I looked at Bob Villa's little tips and he seems to think it's okay to do that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just go with this. And what I have here is, I know that my board, or my wall, is exactly, my wall is a little warped, so bear with me, is exactly 48 inches. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to do 4 panels of 4 inches because I've taped off my wall right at, well, this is 23 and a half, let me see. Yeah, it's a little like 23 and a half. But I'm going to do 4-inch size planks. And I'm also going to do, I think I had it down to 8 when I started. Let's see. No, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to do 24-inch. 24-inch long planks, and they're going to be 4 inches wide. So let's get started. We want to stack it, and we don't have to start in the middle according to Bob Villa. Although he's talking about installing, but it doesn't matter. We're doing it just like we're installing it. We're just using pencil and paint. So we'll start with the first one right at the end, and then we're gonna stack the next one. So let's get started here. See, I just kind of like working from the middle because I kind of know where I'm going, so it's difficult. Okay, so here is, especially when you're working with a level, for me it just makes it easier to keep it steady. So there's our 4-inch mark. Now, I'm going to take my level. I have to keep pushing this wall, and bear with me because it is so warped. It tells me I need to get a new wall. All right, let's take that up there, and as you can see, my level is telling me I am good right there. So, a nice little line, nothing too dark. Like I said, if you have a smaller one, you can, it might be easier for you. Sorry, trying to stay out of your way here. First line's drawn. Now we're going to come down here, mark our next 4-inch line, kind of right there. I know you probably can't see this far away, so we got 4. Here's another 4. Push that work wall in. She won't have to deal with a work wall like I do. Oh my God, I put that on there perfect. What do you know? That'll never happen again, so let's mark this baby real quick. Okay, my pencil didn't come all the way through. Do that again. I used like 75% of the wall. This again. I can see it's actually drawing. Got our second plank. I hope I'm not standing in your way. This is always a problem when you don't have a production crew like, you know, other, like if you were on TV or something. So just bear with me. All right, this is pulling outward, so I'm gonna have to get an actual tape measure. Sorry guys, ladies. There's my 4 inches. I just want to make sure that I have this good so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, there is another plank. Oops. All right, we have our planks drawn out. When I take the tape off, this is going to be shorter. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. This is going to be a little over 3, just like it would be if you were doing a living room wall. And we get down to the bottom. Let's just pretend that our trim starts here. So the next part, to get an authentic look, you're going to want to stagger these boards. So as I said earlier, I had decided I was going to make the boards 8 inches long, which I think is long enough on this board to give you the idea. No, sorry, we're going to do 16. 8's not enough. We're going to do 16 inches as our boards. So here's my 16-inch mark right here. Just put a little mark right there where you can see it. Okay. Now you want to come down here to the next board. This is where you're going to want to make this board 8 so we get the staggering effect. So I went over to the 16-inch mark and I've marked it. Now I'm going to come down here and do 8. I hope you can see this in a minute. So I'm holding my board. As you see, this level does have the numbers on it. So I'm going to come down here. Here is my 8-inch, which would be half the size of my 16-inch plank. Okay. So I've got this marked here, this marked here. I'm going to come back to this board and do 16 again. I'm so sorry this hasn't worked. Okay, and there's our 16-inch. And you can erase this, so you know, don't worry, just make sure you can see it. And then back again to 8 inches. We have 16, 8, 16. We're going to go to 8 here. You can make your planks longer too. You do not have to follow what I'm doing. If you want your planks 24 inches long, however you want to do it, just make sure you stagger them, or you know, so that it looks real. So if you decide you want 24 2-foot long planks, then I suggest that 12 feet on the next one is where you make, 12 inches on the next one is where you make your mark. Just to give it a nice, even, staggered effect. Okay, so we have 16, 8, 16, 8. Next is going to be 16. And this last one, which is going to be a little thin than the other ones, is still going to go back to 8. Which is right here. Alright, so once you have those first marks out, your 16, 8, 16, 8, 16, 8. Now you can go from those marks and you just want to measure 16 and mark the end of it from every mark. And since you've already staggered them at the beginning, the stagger will continue to follow you through the rest of the wall. So here's my first 16-inch mark. Oops, this wall wants to fall on me. Get in there. Okay, that's where my first 16-inch mark was. So I'm going to go over here now and take another 16 inches. And I don't have to do another mark because we have 16, 16. The next 16 would be the end of our wall, exactly. So there we start. So now we have this one, this marking, which we did at the 8-inch part to stagger it. So let's come over here and measure 16. Right there. And then we'll do another 16, which is right here. And we're going to keep going with that. We're going to go down to the next board. Alright, you guys are going to watch me actually probably suffer a head injury at the hands of this board. I think I got it better now. Alright, so there. Okay, that's our first mark. That was our first 16-inch mark. And here is our next one. And we already know that the next 16 inches takes you right to the end of the board. So we're good to go on that one. And again, there's our mark. This one was at the 8 inches to give the staggering effect. Here's our 16. Our next 16 is right here. Okay. And here's our next mark. Our 16 is right here. And then as we know, the next 16 takes you right to the end of the forked wall. There's our 8, where we came in at 8 inches. Let's go there. And measure in 16. Measure another 16, which takes you to the 32. And we have all of our marks. And it's going to be easier because your wall is not going to potentially fall on you. So we have all of our marks. Let's start off with the first. And we want to keep everything level, which is the beauty of these, this kind of level. Because I cannot draw a straight line if my life depends on it. So you're going to draw that line all the way down, whoops, to your bottom board. And you can just erase this stuff or even lick it off because we're water-based paint. Remember, you can always lick it off. So that's going to be our first board. Come over here. Now I'm using my level. You should use your level. Keep your line straight. That's why I love this level. It's going to be straight coming this way. There's my mark, as you see, for my measurements. Our next board. 1, 2, 3. So you'll see here, this is why it's important to measure in your 8 inches. This is when we're going to start getting that staggered look. Is that the right word, staggered? Isn't that? I feel like that's when you're drunk. Stacked? I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm not sure. But I know you all know what I'm talking about. Plank, plank. Then, if you recall, we measured over 16 inches. Here's my little line, which isn't straight yet. We gotta get this straight. And there's that. Same here. Boy, this one almost came up straight just like that. Okay, so we have our lines going on. This one is the one we started right at 16 inches in. And I honestly think 24-inch long planks would be great. Part of the reason I'm choosing 16 is because it's the only way to really show you what the design's going to look like when it's spaced this small. But you may really like the 16. It's all up to you. It's all up to what you're going for. There's no right or wrong with paint. Always remember that. Sorry, I'm not going to take this here. if you're using common sense like I don't sometimes, you could really just skip over and keep going down with the lines to save yourself time. But for the purposes of this video, like I could have just drew my line, since it was already straight, went down and drew my next line. It was at the same level. I'll fight with this board at this level all day until I get it perfectly straight. And again, we could have just kept this level line and just went down right there so that we already have it drawn. So we have it drawn out. I don't know how well you can see it, but this is our planks we're starting with. And as I said, you can make your planks longer. You could make them 2 feet, which I think would be really a great length, especially if you're doing a large wall. If you're not doing a real large wall, just an accent wall, this is gonna work. But if you're doing a whole room, make your planks like 24 inches long. Okay, so we have them drawn out. And what I'm going to do, just because I want this to look really pretty for you, is I'm just gonna real quick hop in here and scooch over those areas that I got little pencil marks on. I'm sure I'll come across more as I'm going along. It may actually help the look of the Ship Lap had I kept it, but I want to do my own shading. I don't want any marks helping me out here. It's kind of cheating. See, I told you it wanted to kill me. Just the big marks. I find myself getting a little anal sometimes about perfection, things that don't matter. Hopefully that'll stop us from getting killed. Alrighty, so there's your planks. While that is drying, we're going to go ahead and get these areas lined up. Okay, so I'm going to take tape. A lot of you can use freehand. You absolutely can use freehand. This tape probably isn't going to make any difference. It's just a habit for me. Now I'm going to go right under my line, right under it. Just right barely under it. I tape this. You see my line is right over it. I taped it right just a hair after the line. This is going to keep your shading nice and straight. Put the lines in your planks nice and straight and just give you a more professional finish. I suggest you do it. You can do freehand, trust me, you can. But if you're not used to doing freehand and you just want it to be really straight and nice, because the detailing and what's going to make it realistic is going to come when we do the shading, and there's going to be no rhyme or reason. But the lines, I don't know, I think the lines really should be straight. So as you see, there's my line. And I am going to come. See that line? And when I say hair, I mean hair. Even that's a little too much. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. We have to do one at a time because of the so cheers to Friday. Yay. Had to stop and do that for a minute. Funny story is I was actually doing this outside. It's gloomy out today. And I went on my weather app because it's been gloomy since 6:30 this morning. I'm like, wow, is it really gonna rain? Well, my weather app said no. I went all the way till this evening just to make sure I wouldn't run into anything unexpected. As soon as I got out there, the rain started. Just drips. So yeah, so we're doing it inside. The lighting's better outside. Even though you can't see it, I have professional photography lights going on here. If you could see what's going on behind this little area. Okay, I want to do, my lines are going to be more of a gray in nature because a lot of you have gray in your homes. Gray is a popular color right now for walls. If you have a neutral tone like a beige, you can do this in, as you see, this is called Gravel Road. See how it's gray? You could do it in more of a brown, a darker brown color, and that would give you that kind of neutral, earthy tones you're going for. If you want your shiplap, because you can, I mean, you can get shiplap. Your shiplap can be done any way that you like it. Heck, I do a boho shiplap if I could. Maybe I will. All right, so let's shake this up real good. I am using a very fine artist brush. And when you do this, I just want to warn you, get yourself a good little angled artist brush. They're a couple bucks. Don't get a cheap one like at the dollar store, because these brushes, they have a little spring to them. And they're not those brushes where you're just gonna go, those cheap brushes, you ever use them? As soon as you put some pressure, they're everywhere, they're feathered everywhere. That's not gonna work for you, and you're gonna get frustrated. So go to Michael's, wherever you get your artist brush, get yourself one for a couple bucks. It's nice and thin with a little angle to it, and it's gonna have a little push behind it so that it's not spreading out. You want a nice even line. If you get a cheap brush, it's gonna feather everywhere. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna work out of my cap here, and I don't want too much on my brush. So what is in this cap is gonna work for me. I'm gonna have to keep dabbing it because our paint's gonna be a little porous right now. So as you see, and I'm gonna use my tape and my lines here. This is what I mean by porous. And don't second guess yourself when you're doing this. You have no idea what it looks like till you pull it off. And even when we pull it off, it's still not gonna look right. It's everything else you're gonna do afterwards. You got this, don't doubt it. If you don't like a spot, just paint over that spot. Start over. And if you can see, I'm painting over the tape and the lines. Just come back over. Use a portion of the tape while you're painting. If you see where I'm going right over the tape and my line? Okay, so we're gonna have our first one. I'm just going to talk to you right now. Where? So how the heck did I get a hair in my paint? I think it's stuck in the tape. Okay. I hope you can see. I'm not standing in front of this. Just doing little by little, as you see, because I have the tape, I kind of have that luxury. And don't worry, see where that's up a little more than this? Don't worry, it's all going to be part of the final process. It's just going to give it an authentic look. tape off. And I'm going to tell you, you can just bring this tape over and I'll show you just to bring the two together. And look, see that? Oh, it's not even? Don't worry when you see that. Look, I just put my hand in it. Don't worry if you do that either. All right, so let me take this off, the side piece here first, because I'm going to use it to kind of bring the rest of that together. Oops. So we have our first line done. I'm going to see if I can reuse this tape. Might not be a good idea, but what the heck. Okay, now, see up here, my lines are a little thick. It's going to be so easy to fix. But you don't want to fix it until you got through this because we want to get a consistent look. And once we get all the lines on, we'll go back over any spots we think are too thick. Because remember, like this, see how these came out too thick? It's probably because my brush didn't have enough spring in it. See, we're going to bring that all a little together. So don't worry about stuff like that. See if we can, maybe not, it might cause some through. And so for this next line, I'm coming underneath the line that I drew in. Just a tad. Pencil. Ah, it feels like just a hair short. Okay. So we're on the second row. When you paint it, try to paint maybe half on the tape and the other half for your line. And your painting will get better as you go along because you kind of get used to the feel of the brush, the paint, and the surface you're working on. You know, some surfaces are more porous than others, some of your paint will just glide, depending. It all depends on what you're working on. Which is why I always say your first line, don't ever worry about your first line. One, it's so easy to fix. Two, the rest of your lines are only going to get better. I hope I'm not standing in front of you. I'm so sorry. It's hard. I can't really see what I'm filming. I always do a test shot, but See how much better the line gets as you go along? That's what I'm trying to tell you. I paint all day, every day. And my first lines, look at those, how thick they are. You gotta give your hand time to get used to the, whatever your canvas is, and you will. And the more pressure you put on your brush, the bigger your line's gonna get, so. Semi pressure with enough paint is your best bet. Fix this one. Let's take this down here so we can finish that piece off. Oh, one other thing I want to tell you. I've been getting all of my catalogs and emails and home garden shows coming up in January, so I've been seeing a lot of what's out there and what's coming out, and brick is back. Brick in the kitchen. And let me tell you, I am the master of painting faux brick. Not kidding. Hey, I'm doing a video. Rob's home. Like right in the middle. Well, it's okay. If I don't talk, that's why. See how much smaller that line is than the last? Damn it. Sorry. Cheers real quick. Oops, did I really forget that? Sorry. I gotta go back. I had myself there. So there we are, there's our base. Next we're going to start the detailing. Before I do that, I'm going to go in and thin some of these lines out. That top area, that's your first line. It's too wide, it's uneven. It's an easy fix no matter where it comes up. Then we're going to start the fun part. So hang on, I'll be right back. And ta-da! Okay, we're back. And our wall is drawn out. And I'm going to be honest with you. As I said, when you do your first line, you're going to be feeling the paint, the pressure of it. It's going to be going a little heavier, and it's okay. Don't worry about it. You can go back. If you think a line's too long, you can go back with some tape, some old tape. Just kind of hold it there, go back over it with your paint, your drop cloth. But because we're doing a video, and I'm going to show you how to detail, I'm okay with that. So the first thing we're going to do is I have here, this is Grunge Glaze by Dixie Belle. And the thing about, by the way, grunge is our #1 color. But the thing about glaze is it's really easy to work with. It has a long drying time, so you can really play with it. And it's translucent. So it's not like putting paint on a board where you're going to be like, oh, no. It's a much softer look, so it's great for a project like this. And I use glaze anytime I do anything with a faux stone. You can take a little plastic grocery bag and hit it with it. It just looks all crumpled up. There's so much you can do. But in this case, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take like a little dollar store brush here. I'm just going to shake it up real good. And I'm just going to, look at that, put that on my brush. And it looks like a lot, doesn't it? Well, that is a lot, but you shouldn't have globes. But there you go. And I'll use the middle one. We're going to just take this glaze and go across our board, or our faux plank. Is that freaking you out? Because it shouldn't. Because here's what we're going to do next. I happen to have this tool. It's a wood graining tool. And I'm going to use not the wood graining part here. So you don't have to have this. You can use a comb. You can use a fork if you want. You don't have to go out and buy this. And I'm going to come across my glaze like that, and like that, and that, and like that. Why is my brush so hard? There was something wrong here. I'll get back to that one. And I'm just going to come around little different spots with a regular brush. Take more off, so I'm just going to start my brush. Remember, all of our products are water-based, so whenever you want something lighter, all you got to do is take some water. And what I want to do here is I want to get as much glaze off the center of my plank as possible. And like I'm doing, I'm going to play with the first one. When you're doing your whole wall, you can go over to the other one, but since we're going to focus on the first plank here, which you started, I'm going to distract you with those. So, have our glaze on there. And we want to take off a lot in the center. So I'm just taking a water bottle to arrive here. I don't want it dripping wet, I just want it damp. Come in. Can you see where I'm taking it off? Now I'm just going to take my wet brush and just kind of brush it in a little bit. Now, are you seeing some definition starting to take shape so it's not looking like a flat white square? And that's what the glaze is going to do. Oh, but we're not done yet. And you'll have fun with this part. I know I'm probably confusing you because I took a few tools out, but I'm going to break it down something for you. All right, Dixie Dirt in charcoal. We're going to add a little more depth to this. I'm going to assume you're going to use an artist brush for this, but if I had my way and you had any brush. Something maybe around this size, that angle. I always keep my labels on my brushes. This is 3 1/8" angular brush. But you don't have to have that exact brush, but if you can see what I'm going for here. So my glaze is so wet. I'm going to take a little Dixie Dirt. You're not going to need more than probably what's in here. Just a little on the brush and try to blow the excess off. And I want you to come to these corners. Just randomly at the corners. And just blend it in. And use your brush at every angle circular to blend it, because while that glaze is wet, it's going to work real nice for you. Until you get the exact amount of color in depth that you're looking for. And you may not want any. You may be fine with the glaze. It's all that looks good to you. Alright, so you have some definition going on. And now I'll just come through here. Little. Here and there. I just take my finger and just blend it in. So it's not harsh. And since this is powder, your fingers don't work really good. I don't know about you, but I love to paint with my hands because I can really feel what I'm doing. And get the effect. I feel like I get a better effect when I use my hands than anyway. And you don't have to worry about the tool. I started to use that for you, but I realized I don't want you going out buying tools. So we're just going to do it with the glaze and your install. So, and you want a good kind of like blend. Wait till we get the whole thing done. Alright, so now we're going to go to the next one. I'm going to use a smaller brush, and I'll tell you why I keep preaching about using cheap brushes that bend too much. And I noticed that when I was doing this, I felt like this is the exact example I was talking about. So let's go back to your artist brush. If you have a good brush that has some spring back to it, it's okay to use that if it's big. Like this one, this isn't bending. I got complete control over my glaze and how much I'm putting on with this. With the cheaper brushes, I don't know, every time I try, it's just not what I want. So we're going to go to the next one. See the difference with this over a cheap brush? Because it's holding the glaze. It's not just, the glaze is just sitting on there, like ready to clump on it. And I'm just putting a thin layer on the edges, the corners, all those areas that would kind of age naturally or collect dirt naturally. Corners are always key. Okay, so I have my glaze on in no particular pattern because that's how it should look. You can't be like anal with this stuff. Or you'll drive yourself crazy because dirt doesn't anally line up for you. We're back to the Dixie Belle charcoal. Remember edges, corners. And also remember, Dixie Belle is water based. So if you ever want to thin something out that you did, you just add a little water. See, like that's as dark as my line. You know I don't want that. Just kind of want to go over it, get a little depth in here under the lines, and then we're going to hit it and take off what we don't want. That's a good start, huh? I'm just putting lines in it because, you know, wood would have random lines, and then go back over it and scale them down. Always keep this clip out on your eye. That looks kind of a mess, right? Okay, watch. See how that stamp rag, because our products are water based, see how I can take this rag, stamp, and soften everything. Just wipe it back. And remember, we want the lightest area to be in the center of the plank. It should get darker in the corners and the edges. So here, of course I don't want my corner to look like that. I'm just going to take a little bit of the damp rag, wipe some of it back. Then I'm going to take the dry part. Just kind of bring it all together. And that's what you're going to do. You're just going to play with it and realize that you can't go wrong because it's old wood and it's going to look a certain kind of way. And if you were having ship lap on your walls from an old house, this is what you're dealing with. And isn't that what you're going for? And not only that, remember, you can use a gray base in your dirt, in your shading, in your glaze, or you can use a neutral, like a warm beigey base. Based on what's in your house, your furniture, or what, you know, kind of colors make you feel good when you look at them. That's how I am. I will tell you that. You have a red sheer in our living room because that's my favorite color. I don't sit in it, but after the color being in there, I love looking at it. It makes me happy. So it's all what you like. And I'm just going to go over the middle with a lightly damp. Right, just to bring that highlight in the middle. Your dry rag, just circular. If you want to bring down the tone, just go around it with the dry rag in a circular motion or blend it more. And you see there's no rhyme or reason to that. It's just old wood. I'm going to take a little more out of the center. With my rag a little bit. You see how I'm doing that? I'm just going around a circle. Well, now I'm going to blend it with the dry rag. So it doesn't look like I have this huge highlighted circle in the middle of my. Split it down, rub it. Right. That's it. Okay, as you didn't get the gist of it, we're going to run through it quick. You shouldn't be doing plank by plank, but so you do a couple, it's the only way you're going to get the feel down. So give yourself that time to learn. Do a couple planks one by one. Pick out the look you like the best. How much you use, what product you use. This is darker, that's lighter. Do you want it real rustic? You may not want it that rustic. The next one we're going to do is going to be very, very, very little shading in case you just want a nice white plank wall, but you want to use the definition to make it look real. Okay? So they look real to me, but you may want that really nice white plank with very little shading. That's what we're going to do now. So in this case, I'm going to take my little brush here, and I'm just going to come around here, bring it out a little bit, your glaze, just a tad. Come around the edges. See how translucent it is? Don't be afraid it might soil off for too much time. Very little in here. But we can't leave that all white. So you see, you have the glaze on the edges here. It's so thin. Let that dry a little bit. I'm over here. Same thing. When you're doing your wall, once you get the look you like, you're going to go through these. Actually, you can go over the whole thing with glaze if you like. Let that set up a little bit. That set up. You're going for a softer look on your boards. Spray my rag. Bring some of this out. So it's not just a line that you can see. Okay, so that's already set up. It's already started drying. So I'm going to get back to that because I'm going to have to re-wet it. The one that's still wet, so you're talking about. Alright, so that's still wet. So now, you come back here with this glaze. Just carry it in. It's going to give you just enough definition in your boards. So it's not flat white. And this is if you're looking for a color that is close to the whiteboard, but you got to have some definition. So even if you don't want a lot of glaze, you still got to have something in there. It's just going to look like a white board with lines. Or, I'm sorry, white wall with lines. So you see that's a light version. So it's starting to dry too. That's right there. And we're just going to let that dry just like that. going with glaze. Here. There it is. It's back. Where's it going? I always want to try to get it. It disappears. There it is. It's a piece of hair I just can't get rid of. And as I said, you can just cake glaze, sponge glaze right over the top if you don't want to get into all the shading and everything like I did down there. And it really is a beautiful finish. And as it dries, I'm going to show you too how to add just a tad more definition of glaze, other than just glaze. But it's a really, really, really pretty look, and it's simple. What do you think? Now as this dries, this glaze, if you're going to use just the glaze technique, as the glaze dries, just like to hit it one more time in the corners. Because realistically, hitting these corners, this is going to dry lighter. It is going to give them it's going to give it a more authentic look. And you don't even have to spread it out. You can just do round because you already have the base of the glaze. Just hit it in the corners, let it dry. If you want a little more dimension, maybe hit it here, here. Because as I said, it's going to dry much clearer than it looks, lighter than it looks. So you can just add a little wood grain what's going on with it. You take a smaller brush and do it. I'm just kind of going with what I have. If you do it too soon while it's still wet, sometimes you can pull back some of the glaze that you just put on. So the ideal way to do it would be to hit it with your glaze. And then after your glaze dries, come back in the corners with a light light. Just to give it a little more definition and depth, and to make it a little real. But the glaze is your buddy. You can't go wrong with the glaze. If you want to take it a little further though, that's when the Dixie Dirt's a lot of fun. If I were doing, say, a mural in someone's home, I would add in the Dixie Dirt just because, I want to give them as much depth and I want it to look as real as possible. But you can do this with just glaze and look. Now granted, our first top lines came out having not fixing those for the sake of this because you can see what we have here. So we'll let this dry, come back, and we'll see if we need to add anything else. Hey, I'm back, and I'm going to try to show you close up the differences in the techniques that we used. Okay, down here, don't mind that, that's just a ripping paper, I guess the back of this board's made out of, but this was all using glaze. Now that it's dry, as I back away from it, you get the idea. Can you see how the glaze has brought out some depth to the wood, to the board? Oh my God, wood. All right, then we go up here, and this is where I did some shading just to age it, which as you can see, you don't have to do that at all. Look how great it looks with just the glaze. So you could get away with this project using a level, drop cloth by Dixie Belle paint, gravel road, Dixie Belle paint, a small one of that, and some grunge glaze. And if you want to add some definition, you don't have to do it like I did. If you just want to add a little Dixie Dirt under the line, just to give it, you can just dry brush it on, or even take a little brush, rub back what you don't want. You don't have to add that at all if you don't want to do that yet. You could do your whole wall, and then you decide, I don't know, a month later, maybe I'll add a little Dixie Dirt in the corners. Do it then. But just get started. You'll love it. And people will love that you could do that. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other techniques that you'd like to see, just put it in the comments and I'll do it for you. Thank you for hanging in there with me while I got this finished. And I can't wait to see you guys soon. Bye.